Hello, hello, hello. We are gonna do Ask Me Anything. I asked all of you to send me your burning questions. We got a lot of them, a couple hundred across all the platforms. I asked my lovely wife to kind of squeeze that down. Got them all printed out here. I'm just gonna drop them in this mug and pull them randomly. And if your question didn't make the cut, you can blame her, not me. Before we get all cozy and chatty, I want to take a second to thank the sponsor of this video, Into the AM, who made this and many of the wonderful shirts that I wear on this channel. They've been a longtime supporter of this channel and I thank them very much for that. One of the reasons I continue to take them as a sponsor is because they make really good quality products that I am happy to endorse. They have a constantly growing catalog of graphic tees with really bright, vibrant graphics on them, but what makes them special is the quality of their t-shirts versus the price. They're cut and fit in such a way that they'll make you look a little bit stronger than you actually are. The sleeves fit nice, the body's tapered in a nice way, and the material is soft and comfortable, and they don't shrink in the dryer, which is a big bonus for me. They also have plain and basic tees for your daily wardrobe. They got long sleeves, sweatpants, hoodies, and their hoodies are some of the best you'll ever get or wear. Far better quality than from companies that charge 2, 3, even 4 times the price. So if you want to spiff up your wardrobe, or you want to buy some gifts for maybe a significant other to spiff up their wardrobe, check out Into the AM using my link in the description and you will get 10% off your entire order. All right, now, questions. What's next for Idols of Torment? Well, we are just wrapping up fulfillment. Basically, everybody has their product. We have to complete the soundtrack. That is still outstanding. Completing the soundtrack, pressing it in vinyl, and sending that to our backers is the very next step. But on a bigger scale, we're already thinking about not only the next expansion, but the one after that. Right now we're exploring the idea of putting the game into a starter box with more plastic models so that it's even more approachable and easier to get into. And after that, we will be expanding the setting and the lore in a way I don't want to reveal yet, but I'll just say that the idols will have found a way to leave the Echo, and it's going to put them in some settings that are really fun for both skirmish games and RPGs. I'm curious on how you're managing with going from working in construction to working full-time with YouTube out of your home. Do you find it's causing you to be more introverted or reclusive? Well, it's now been several years since I worked construction. I've been doing YouTube full-time for I've lost track now, but I think it's been over 5 years. I don't think it's made me more introverted because I've always been an introverted person. However, it has facilitated that a lot more, where I used to be forced to go out into public and speak to coworkers, other trades, clients, whatever. Now I can just sit in my room all by myself and be a weirdo. And I definitely do that more than I should. So I often force myself just to go out, do some shopping, go to different events, just so that I can see humanity and get out of my house, because I spend far too many hours at home. Having a home studio is fantastic. It's super convenient. It works really well for my family, makes things very flexible, but I honestly wouldn't mind if my studio was in a separate space that I had to commute to just to get me out of the house a little bit more. Pepsi or Coke? Well, that's easy. I am absolutely a Pepsi person. Now, I'm not one of those weirdos who will get upset in a restaurant if they have the other one. I mean, Coke is fine. I just don't think it's nearly as good. Pepsi is the superior cola. If we're just talking in a general sense of what's my preferred pop, it's gonna be root beer. Root beer is my jam. After that's gonna be Dr. Pepper, and then we're gonna go into Pepsi. Now that your hobby is your job, have you taken on different hobbies to make up for it? Oh yes, I have. I am the kind of person that gets obsessed with hobbies pretty easily. I also have an incredible ability or curse to turn my hobbies into revenue streams. So I'm constantly kind of turning my hobbies into jobs and then finding new things to replace those hobbies. And then those somehow get monetized and I have to find a new hobby. So yes, I've had a couple hobbies that I've really gotten into since taking this on as a job. For a while, I was really into gardening. I really enjoy cooking. My main thing is that I'm into vintage dead media, VHS, DVD, Laserdisc, old tech equipment, all that good old nostalgic stuff. And most recently, I've gotten into aquascaping and aquariums. Last year, my daughter wanted fish for Christmas, so we got a small 10-gallon tank. And over the year, I learned to take care of it very well and realized I really enjoyed it. So I just recently upgraded to a much bigger, nicer aquarium so I could add more live plants and more critters, and I love it. I spend a lot of time just looking at the fish and relaxing. It's a great decompression thing. And I would say right now, if you look through my YouTube history, aquarium related videos are gonna make up a large portion of what I've been watching. Would you rather make a project with cheese as the glue or as the main material, and what kind of cheese? I don't think I'd want to use cheese glue. Maybe some weird American plastic cheese slices would work fine as an adhesive, but I don't think so. I would use it as the building material, and I would choose, what's it called? Hamuli? Is that what it's called? Hamuli? Halloumi. I was close. Halloumi cheese, which is a very dense, dry cheese that you can actually fry. It doesn't melt very easily, if at all. So I think it's the one that would hold up best to making structures with. Although I'm sure anything you use is eventually just gonna go moldy and be gross. So that's a terrible idea and a weird question. Would you ever live stream or record one of your games? This question has been asked and answered many times throughout the channel's history. If we're talking D&D and stuff, no. One, I have no interest in it. I don't really like live stream D&D games. I think it's weird. It's not for me. I wouldn't enjoy doing them. It's important for me to have some form of gaming that is strictly still within the hobby space and isn't part of my job or my business. And I game so infrequently these days that I don't want to spend those precious times stressing out about equipment and recording and, treating it like work. How did you choose what tattoo to get as your first one? What are the stories behind your tattoos? I'm not a super sentimental tattoo person. I don't think tattoos need to have a meaning. However, my first tattoos, I was 18 years old and I got text Ultimate and Machine on my wrists. This is the name of a song from a musician that me and one of my best friends were really into, and we both got them as matching tattoos as a kind of friendship thing. And I'm glad that I did, because he's no longer with us. He passed away several years ago, so I'm still carrying these tattoos, and it's like I have a little piece of him with me forever. Lots of my tattoos don't have meaning. They're just things I think are cool. Like this is like skulls. I like skulls. This one's like a lich king, so that's kind of D&D related. This sleeve has some meaning. This is my Ukrainian sleeve. I got my Ukrainian skeletal lady with her big flowery headdress and her cross stitching and red beads and blue and yellow banners, and then my Cossack guy. A lot of my tattoos relate to the prairies. I have wheat all over. I'll have wheat and butterflies and moths. What was your favorite toy line as a kid? That was definitely the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles toy line. I was obsessed. I had everything. I had so many figures. I had the sewer, I had the van, I had the blimp, the pizza throw-in thing. Like, I loved Ninja Turtles. I also really liked Bucky O'Hare, and I had all the Bucky O'Hare toys, Masters of the Universe, of course, like some G.I. Joes and Star Wars and stuff, but I'm just a little bit too young to have hit the early wave of those. I'm definitely from the Ninja Turtles Transformers generation. How are the tremors doing, worse or better? For those of you that don't know, I have an essential tremor. I've done videos on it in the past. My hands shake, and that's a challenge that I face regularly when working on miniature stuff. I'm thankful to say I don't think they've gotten worse. They don't get better, but I actually feel over the last year they haven't bothered me as much. I haven't been as aware of it. Even if it is progressing worse, I guess I've just gotten really comfortable with it. My biggest challenge has always been like showing my hands on camera shaking while I'm trying to do some delicate task, because it can be a little stressful and weird to see, and people sometimes get kind of rude about it and invasive. I guess I've gotten over that. I don't know. I don't really try to edit it out anymore. I'm just more relaxed in general, and when I'm more relaxed, my shakes are better. But as far as coping techniques, it's still all the same stuff that I talked about in my video about having shakes and how I deal with it. I haven't learned anything new, unfortunately. How do you deal with artist block? That's something I deal with often, especially as a content creator. A lot of time I have to be creative on demand. And by far the best way to deal with this, and how I always deal with it, is just forcing myself to work. Turning on the lights, plugging in a hot glue gun, grabbing some bits, grabbing some material, and just starting to do something, digging through things, looking for inspiration. And if that doesn't work, just like cutting up material, making some bricks or whatever. And eventually that will always lead to a finished project. I just did that in the last video. I had no idea what to do. My creepy snowman holiday decorations, that's what that was. It was artist block. I didn't know what to do. And I ended up making those by forcing myself to sit in the chair and just make something. And if you missed that video, which you probably did because it got pretty low views, go check it out. Half that video is basically about overcoming artist block. How do you store all of your projects after they're completed? Most of them go on the shelves as display. Some things go on the lower shelves in bins and some smaller bins. And I keep things kind of grouped together by theme. Some stuff I think I might need, but I'm running out of room on the shelves, so I'll put it in the basement for a while. But if I don't use it for a good amount of time, I end up just giving it away. I'm getting better and better at giving things away, and I need to do it more. How do you deal with insurance as a full-time content creator? I'm assuming that you're talking about health insurance here. This is a good time to remind people that I'm Canadian, so this is a non-issue. I'm not American. This is only a problem for Americans. I don't want to get too political here. That's not what this channel is about, but I will say that when we talk about free countries, I'm very grateful that I live in a country that I truly think is free, because I have the freedom to pursue my passions and my dreams without worrying about things like health insurance and medical bankruptcy. It's a non-issue. My family has dealt with many serious health problems, some of them ongoing for life, and it's not a stress. So, how is the cat? We want more footage of her. Well, there's not just one, there's two cats. I have Masha, our Siberian forest cat, and she's lovely and wonderful and doing great. But we also have my main baby boy, Grinchy, my old man garbage cat, and he's also doing just fine. They're both happy and healthy, and right now a little upset that it's winter time. Are there any videos that you wish you hadn't made? Not really. I mean, I don't really think about it. There's lots of videos that perform really poorly and I regret them immediately, regretting them way later. I'm gonna say no. How do you fight burnout, lack of motivation? I don't fight burnout very well, but I will say my other hobbies that I mentioned, and just allowing myself to take a break. If I'm being completely honest, this video is a lazy video, and it's to fight burnout. Coming into December, I am beat physically, mentally, emotionally. I just don't have it in me to be as creative as I need to be on this channel. So that's why I'm answering these questions. So yeah, giving myself permission to just relax and not have to be on my A game 100% of the time. What was your proudest achievement this year? Idols of Torment, easy. Creating a game, publishing a game, writing a book, laying out a book, all the logistics, getting plastic models made, getting them shipped all over the world, making Kickstarter backers happy in a current environment where most hobby companies are failing on Kickstarter and screwing over the people that supported them. There's so many horror stories over the past 2 years about companies that put out hobby products, mini games, you know who you are, that spent all their money on bullshit, lived too frivolously, too fast, and kept making new Kickstarters to bring in money instead of just using the money they made on the first one to produce the product they sold. And me and my partner were very frugal and responsible, and just the two of us, we did what a bunch of companies of many people failed to do. And I am proud of that. I'm really, really proud of that. Updates on your mental health journey? I've been coping pretty well. I finally moved beyond just dealing with my family doctor for my mental health and getting an actual psychiatrist. Got some proper diagnosis, got some medication that is working pretty well. In general, I'd say that I am in a nice place, much more stable place than I've ever been in my adult life. Where and how do you find the balance with the hobby, work, and family. Still not great at that, but I've gotten better. And again, it comes down to just giving myself permission to relax and chill out and not always worry about YouTube and algorithms and comments and all that kind of stuff. 3 favorite albums of 2023. Normally, that's the kind of question I would love to answer. And normally I'm on the ball with discovering new music, but 2023, I was so busy with other things that I didn't keep up with new music. So my favorite albums of 2023 were all ones that came out in 2022, 21, 20. My biggest discovery, my favorite, most listened to thing were the last 2 albums by Bob Vylan. He is fantastic. If you like some angry UK rap with a little bit of punk rock mentality in it, check out Bob Vylan. How would 13-year-old Jeremy react knowing what you do now? 13-year-old Jeremy would be blown away. At that time specifically, I was starting to think about a real legitimate life path. And my goal was to be a musician and a graphic designer by day. And I'm not a graphic designer, but I do graphic design almost daily as part of this business. In a sense, 13-year-old Jeremy's dreams and goals came true, but not in the way he expected. I think where I've landed is actually much better than I could have realistically hoped for. So he would be pretty proud. So hang in there, 13-year-old other people, you'll get there. Which build was the most daunting and challenging? That was creating a game. Nothing has been as daunting or challenging as that, specifically laying out the book. My first time ever doing InDesign and laying out a 180-page book, getting it properly ready for a print and production run. That was a big, scary task, but I kicked its butt and I am so glad that I did. Okay, we only got 1 question left. How's gardening going? Well, right now it's winter, so it's not going at all. And if I'm honest, this past summer, I dropped the ball on it completely and let my wife take over, which is fine. She is more of the plant person than I am. I'm more interested in my aquarium plants at the moment. This summer, I was just so busy with work that I didn't spend as much time outside as I should have. We'll see how next year goes, because my freezer is eventually going to run out of tomato sauce. So I will have to grow a whole bunch more tomatoes. That's it. If you're still here, thanks for joining me on this little questionnaire period. I hope you enjoyed it and found it somewhat entertaining. Hit the like button. Let me know in the comment section. If I didn't answer your question, I'm sorry. If you really want to know it, ask it in the comments and I'll do my best to continue answering questions there. That's it. That's all. I need a root beer. See you next time.